for both of you, how do you then balance what you just spoke about, Shai, with also the principle of free speech and the principle of hate speech? Can you, maybe Shai, we'll start with you on this and then we'll go to Abe.
So I have the more controversial and the less controversial answer. I'll tell you both because, and this is something you should know about me, partly because I'm not affiliated with any organization. I only speak for myself, so I only speak my mind. And ever since I was a kid, I've run my mouth, and it's for good or bad. What you see on social media is who I am. Like, there's no strategy. Someone asked me outside, like, who runs your social media? And I was like, me. That is why I don't sleep. But the more controversial, and this is maybe a cultural issue, maybe because I did not grow up in the United States, and I'm learning a lot. I've been here for 14 years, but I'm still learning. And I hope to keep learning throughout my lifetime. Free speech exists in a lot of democratic countries around the world. What we have in the United States is not the belief in free speech, it's the fetishizing of free speech. The idea of free speech is a fetish that, if you even curtail it a little bit, you don't have a democracy. That's absolutely false. If you look at any other Western democracy, is there less free speech in Western Europe, in Israel? Yes, there is less free speech, but it's not less democratic. But that's a controversial issue, and I can argue, and we can have, and it's important for us to disagree, by the way. Don't take my word for it. Let's disagree. But the other thing is, my concern is not about free speech, it's about equality and civil rights. Because right now there are very clear boundaries about free speech on college campuses for any speech other than speech against Jews. That's what enrages me, the double standard. If universities want to come and say, we believe in free speech, let's have absolute free speech, I think it will be horrible. I think it will lead to anarchy, but let's do that. That means that you can come and say whatever you want about whatever group, no matter how horrible or nefarious, and you can protest whatever kind of violence. I think that will lead to the demise of society, but that's what free speech means. But that's not what they want. They want free speech to attack the Jews and the Jewish homeland, but then boundaries on free speech for everyone else. And that's not acceptable. Now, since I've been, October 6th, I've been speaking a lot about free speech. I've been asked a lot. And every time I get this one example, this famous example about free speech in the United States of America. Does anyone know what it is?
Skokie.
Right, Skokie, Ohio. Right? Ohio? Illinois. Skokie, Illinois. See, I'm not from here. So at first I was like, okay, let me go read up on something that every journalist asks me about. And Skokie, Illinois was a case that went all the way up to the Supreme Court. Can neo-Nazis basically march in Skokie, Illinois? And said, yes, it's important for them to march, to know who they are in free speech. Who are they marching against? The Jews. So the one example you can show me about how free speech is important is when you allowed neo-Nazis to march and terrorize Jews. That's not good enough. Right? If you really want to show me that you believe in free speech, show me where you allow other groups in society to be treated this way. That's my concern. My problem is with selective enforcement with this double standard. And that's what we should be fighting for. And by the way, the lawsuits that Columbia is facing, the lawsuits that other universities are facing right now, are civil rights lawsuits. This is our civil rights moment. We might not all of us realize this, but this is it. This is the moment where the Jewish community in the United States of America stands up and says, this is our civil rights moment. This is when, we don't need more diversity because we don't suffer from low representation. We don't need more equity. We don't suffer from inequitable, but we deserve equal inclusion. The I in DEI. And this is our moment for getting that. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand.